It is a fantastic day to just show up. Hi, everyone. Yvonne Heath here, nurse turned author, speaker, and changemaker, and your host. Welcome to Navigating Grief with Heart and Humor, where we talk about, plan, and prepare for grief, transitions, end of life, and all the messiness in between, long before it arrives, and diffuse the fear so we can live fully now. So we have coping skills and strategies that will help us navigate challenging times, that we can enjoy good times, even when we are grieving, because grief and joy can coexist. We are doing all of this because we understand that we create our excessive suffering by not being well prepared, not being proactive, not having a solid foundation before grief arrives. Most of the time we have been in the deep trenches of grief and realized that we needed to do this differently. And so we are here together to learn from, to support one another, and to be the change we want to see in the world. And I'm so honored and proud of you for being courageous and wanting to be a voice for change in your own life and for others. Because when we teach by example, that is the greatest thing that we can do for those we care about and our communities and the planet. So as always, yes, I will share a fun fact for you or with you. I love to do that. And because I want to bring my message with heart and humor wherever I go, because it's already serious enough. And just recently, my husband Jordy and I had our kissiversary, our I think it was 21 years ago when we had our very first kiss. And I might have shared this before, but I am 13 and a half years older than Jordy. That's right, ladies, because age doesn't matter. It's about letting your spirit get old, not your chronological age. And I'll never let my spirit get old. Anyways, on that beautiful, wonderful, magical kiss, I just, had the biggest crush on this paramedic. And I was a nurse, he was a paramedic, but he was so young. He was 23 and I was 36. What? So it wasn't going to mean anything. We were just having fun. Well, here we are over 20 years later, and we're still just having fun. And we have an amazing family and amazing life together. So I invite each and every one of you to forget about chronological age and love who you love, no matter what their age. So that's my fun fact for you. And now, before we get into our wonderful conversation, I just want to take a moment, as always, to just, I'm going to take two slow, deep breaths. This is part of my ritual to land here, forget about the noise on the other side of the door and all the other things that are calling me away right now. I want to be fully present. I want to set an intention for our time together, and I invite you to do the same in either taking two slow, deep breaths to quiet the noise, or whatever ritual works for you to just land in this moment. So I'm going to close my eyes and take two slow, deep breaths. And as I do that, I set an intention to share what your heart needs to hear today. And I know that I always learn as we gather and share our stories. And so today I want to share a heartwarming, heart-wrenching, beautiful story about death as a communal event. And many episodes ago, I shared the story of how my mom and my husband Jordy and myself, we ended up supporting a man named, we called Joe, at the end of his life because he had no one else. He lived a very sheltered life, and he died in the hospital, and we were there, thank goodness. And it was not a warm, fuzzy, wonderful, heart-wrenching, heartwarming experience for anyone else but us. And we chose to see the goodness in that we were able to just show up for this gentleman. And here we are in our community. Recently, we've had the death of a beautiful, wonderful, very young man who had a lovely wife and a child. And it was the whole town is grieving. And Jordy works part-time at the funeral home as well. So we're like the death couple with everything we do, but we're also the living well couple. Anyways, it just so happened he was working night that night, and he had the opportunity before he went to work as a paramedic that he could be one of the people to go and pick up this young man from his home and take him on his journey to the funeral home. And I knew it would mean something to the family, and to know that it was someone that they know and love and trust that was taking him. And something beautiful that my husband shared with me was that when he arrived at this young man's home, there were about 30 people there. 30 people present with his family, his daughter, parents, relatives, friends, neighbors, community from all over, young people, children, grandparents. They were all present as this wonderful young man took his last breaths. And they did not rush when he died. They spent time, and then they called the funeral home to say, we are ready. And it was so extraordinary to hear, like, wow, we can do this. Because as I've shared before, Dr. Alan Kelleher, one of the most incredible quotes I heard when I started this new journey in 2014, that death is a social event with a medical component, not a medical event with a social component. And we tend to have it backwards, right? As we sanitize, medicalize, and professionalize. And the truth is that at end of life, yes, there are some pain medications possibly needed, or some medications, but what we need more than anything is community and love and support. And the things that are needed are not medical things. And this beautiful community just showed up for this man and his family at this very precious time. I am just in absolute awe. When Jordy shared that with me, I just sat with that. And I mean, of course, it made me cry. It was, I knew for so many that would have been so challenging for them, and yet they just showed up anyways. And they will always know that they made a difference, that they supported their friend, their loved one, and his family in this time. And it just is magical. It's magical, and it is a privilege. And I also listened to Barbara Carnes, who does incredible, beautiful work to help us create change with grief, death, and dying. And I listened to a 5-minute video that she had, and she was saying the same thing. Death is a communal event. And here's the thing. When we look back at those who have died, who we loved, we think, wow, there was just one person visited at the bedside at a time, and we were so awkward and we were so uncomfortable. And would we really be able to do something like this? And the answer is absolutely. We haven't normalized that here in our Western culture. We have not normalized this. So we need to forgive ourselves for whatever in the past that we wish we had done differently. and learn from tremendous teachers. Dr. Ellen Keller here, Barbara Carnes, me, hospice nurse Julie. There are just so many. The Waiting Room Revolution podcast with Dr. Sammy Winemaker and Dr. Stian Xiao. There are so many teachers out there who are helping us get back to that compassionate community that can just show up, that can be present, that will know how to make this possible. And again, it's not our fault that we haven't done it this way, right? This is what we've normalized. The gathering is at the funeral home, and you know, however we still do it, that's okay. I'm just saying, for visitations and funerals, and you know, people are starting to have green funerals or home funerals, and exploring this again. We are getting back to taking care of someone's body when they died, maybe washing them, maybe even wiping their face, dressing them, or helping, whatever we can do. You know, there are death doulas and many others who will accompany us on this journey. And how we can do this is lean into learning about this. Because I will tell you, I have been on this journey of learning, unlearning, and evolving for many, many years. And yet I don't know that this is what I would have done if I had a relative who was dying. Wow, could I perhaps bring them to my home and have community all here, supporting them, supporting us, loving us, and just being present? Something I'm going to think about more and more, because it truly warms my heart. It warms my heart to think of us, of being able to do this differently. And here it was, right in my own community, and there were over 30 people with this man as he died. And I just am so grateful. And you know, here, as I move forward, as I share this message, and I have my rituals of grieving, right? I lit our candle and I wrote down their names, and I leave that candle lit for a day, 2 days, however long. And I remember that how I can make a difference is acknowledging and allowing my hard feelings. And so in every message that I shared, I said, this is very sad for the family, and I'm sending love as you grieve. And I say their name and I share something I just adored about them. And I want to be the evidence that someone's life made a difference. And every time I share that, I will say to myself, I am sharing this story in memory of, I'll call him Jack. I already give him a name, I can't remember. Anyway, I will be the evidence that his life made a difference. His life made a difference in this community, and now his death is making a difference, because how everyone just showed up, I am sharing. And now you know, you've heard this. And again, this is the first time that I've heard something like this in our community. Maybe it's happened before, but I don't think we've normalized that. And it makes me feel so good to know that this is possible. This is possible, and we can do this no matter where we are. It's that courageous, brave journey. And I know that every person that was there is forever changed for that experience. I have no doubt it was challenging. I have no doubt there will be tears. And someday they will look back and say, wow, it was really hard to do. And I was there. I just showed up. So I wanted to share that story with you. Just let it sink in. And I would love to hear if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have experienced death is a communal event. If you've experienced this, I would love to hear. I want to learn more and more. I would love to honor my relatives or whoever may die before me, and I have the opportunity to honor them at that time. This is what I'd like to do. And so I'm going to let this sink in. I'm going to learn from this. And like I said, I am learning forever and ever, and we all are. And this is something we can lean into and support one another along the way. So I am sending a just beautiful thoughts and love to our friend and our community and family as they are grieving. And I am so honored that you joined me at this time. And remember, no matter what, we can do this together. You don't have to do this alone. If these conversations scare you, I understand. We are slowly normalizing these conversations and getting back to compassionate community. And we can do this. And it just takes one small step in the right direction at a time. And you can always go to my website. There are many wonderful resources there. You can check my resource page, my book, the I Just Showed Up bracelets. Oh, I have my bracelet on here. The I Just Showed Up bracelets. My program, Get Ready for Grief, which is a resource that can help you along this journey. So thank you again for joining me. It just means the world. And you know, my call to action is always, if you want to be able to just show up in these very challenging, beautiful, heartwarming, heart-wrenching times, empower yourself, create a solid foundation, and plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death. And always bring your own tambourine to the party. Thank you so much. We'll continue this conversation in the next episode. I love you. Bye for now.